Hey there, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Cass. I'm an artist and a small business owner. In a previous video, I worked on a commission and I made this little guy here. Sadly, I had some problems with the colors. I tried to repaint it with acrylic paint, but I messed it up even more. It now has a lot of bumps everywhere, and because neither I nor my customer liked the end result, I have to make a completely new one. 2 days ago I sat down determined to finally get this thing sculpted, but because I don't have any clay in that color, I had to mix it. This whole process, and to make enough to make an entire pal out of it, took me 3 hours. I was completely exhausted after that and I did not have it in me to continue sculpting, so that is what we'll do today. The pal is finally in the oven. Making this one took me almost 2 hours and I am so exhausted right now. But before I can take a little break, I need to clean up the mess that I made. We're back. I am still very exhausted. I really don't know how much more I can do today. I sell a few of my pals in some souvenir shops in Bavaria, and one of the shops requested a few more MooPals. We'll pack them today so they can get more inventory as soon as possible. The thing is that I started changing the packaging of the charms that I sell there, but so far I only did that for the alpine flower, bag charms and phone charms, and I spent my entire evening and night yesterday designing new packaging for the MooPals. I designed all of the packaging parts in Procreate, and even though it doesn't look like it, the most time-consuming part might be placing them all together here, so I can print as many as possible with wasting the least amount of paper. For some reason that always takes so long, probably because in Procreate I don't really have any guidelines or borders. I made this pink printing border so that I roughly know where I have to place them, so that my printer actually prints them and none of the edges are cut off. That's what I just did without you because it is way too boring. So we can just go ahead and print everything. previous video, I made these logo charms, but they turned out a little bit wonky. So I made new ones for these MooPals, but I tried out a different shape and I don't really like it. I think we have to make some new ones and make sure that they turn out flat this time. That didn't really turn out that well. I don't really know what to do now. I managed to wipe away everything with some rubbing alcohol, so everything's still fixable. I just don't know how I should paint it now. The acrylic paint didn't work. I don't have any acrylic markers in the colors that I need. I have one more idea, and that would be to use watercolors, but the problem is that the glaze that I use is water-based, so it washes away the watercolor, but that is a problem that I faced before with my fairy MooPals. The spots of that one are holographic and I use holographic watercolor for that. When I switched from UV resin to the new glazes, I tried a few different things, and what actually worked was mixing the watercolor with the glaze and use that to paint. So that's the last idea that I have that we can try, but I'm way too exhausted to try that today. We'll do that tomorrow. As you just saw, I couldn't sleep last night, so I came into the studio in the middle of the night and started experimenting with mixing watercolor and glaze. And while that did work, I just wasn't able to mix the right color, because the new problem was that the colors dried in a completely different shade than when they were wet, and there was no consistency to it. They dried too light, they dried too dark, then they turned too orange, then they turned too yellow. It was so frustrating. After an hour of trying to get the right color mix, I had already painted a few layers and it just didn't turn out in the colors that I needed, so I gave up again for the night. I sat down today and tried it again. I painted for like 3 hours until I was finally satisfied with the results. It is still not exactly how I envisioned it. I just cannot put a 5th or 6th layer on top of that. So I have to wait now until it is completely dry and hopefully I'll be okay with the color then. The most important part is that the customer is happy with the end result. So that's what I spent my entire day doing. I didn't film anything because I was just so frustrated. I just could not be bothered to put up a camera. But after taking a long break, I am finally back in the studio and we can start packing the MooPals. I am very excited about that because the old packaging that I used for them was more of a placeholder, but I was just not finding the time to actually sit down and design a completely new one. So now that I finally did that, I'm really excited to see how it'll look in the end. I am so happy with how the new packaging looks, especially in comparison with the old one. The new one is just so much more professional, and I know it is not perfect. I actually am a graphic designer. Product design was just something I never wanted to do, but making it for my own products was kind of fun. I'm currently working on making blind boxes, and I had so much fun with designing the packaging for them as well. But you'll see more of that in another video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. See you in my next video. Bye!